Okay. The way we're going to do this, and the way I do it with everyone, is just have you talk to me. Okay, just like what we've been talking. And the camera, don't worry about the camera because the camera really doesn't matter. The important thing you realize is that the people who are going to be looking at this on the internet, they're going to be people just like you, who don't want it to be made up or rehearsed or anything like that. And that's part of the reason why I don't really have a set series of questions that I ask. Okay. So, usually the way I started is that I'll, I'll say something like, just give us your name and where you're from. And that's the good case. We're not going to do that. So, we'll just call you.
I can say Midwest.
Sure. Midwest would be good.
Because Midwest is Bible Belt. Midwest needs to know Midwesterners.
Okay, I like that. That's cool. So, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? What you feel comfortable with all this?
About myself personally?
Yeah. I know you're speaking. You're really here to speak concerning your husband, correct?
Yes.
But you have medical issues also.
Yes, I do. And my husband and I have been married for 7 years. And I was in a car accident prior to that, so that caused me problems, muscle problems and all of those things. And then as I got older, I gradually started developing some other symptoms. And was formally diagnosed with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome and all of the diagnoses that they slap on people who they don't know really what to do with. So when we were first married, I knew my husband was a very anxious person. I knew when we were dating, in my profession, I am able to diagnose those kinds of things, and I thought, this guy's bipolar if he's anything, because he was up and he was down, and he was up and he was down, and he was having difficulty with controlling that anxiety. And so after a few years, we ran into more medical problems for myself, which caused him more increased anxiety from the stress of dealing with, I developed breast cancer, and it was a long process, and had some complications. He was in the hospital twice, and they tested him for all kinds of things, ran every test imaginable. Finally said, diverticulitis and this and that, but basically it was stress-induced, and that he needed to just have less stress in his life. Well, with me going through chemotherapy at the time, that was a little bit difficult to have less stress. I had also lost my job prior to the diagnosis, so that was added stress on him. He was a recreational marijuana user, but then it became more and more that I saw that when he was not smoking, that he was so uptight and so anxious and feeling so bad that it was affecting his daily life, our relationship, his ability to function properly. And I found, and he found, that when he would go and smoke, that his stomach would calm down, that he would relax, everything would relax, and that we could have a decent conversation. It's getting to the point where it was affecting everything, our relationship, our communication, everything. So, while I was going through chemotherapy, and where we live in the Midwest is, of course, it's not legal. However, they gave me multiple medications for the nausea and for the side effects, but they didn't help 100%. So I found myself occasionally smoking, and it did help. It was more beneficial to me than any of the high-dollar drugs that they were giving me. But even with his occasional use, and it became more daily, at that point because he just needed it. It kept him more on an even keel with his, with his issues, with his stomach and his anxiety, and he's never been formally diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, but as a mental health professional, I can tell you he has an anxiety disorder.
Okay.
And so I personally spoke to his physician, and I said, look, if you don't put him on something, we're going to have problems, big problems. So at that point, he was put on Ativan, which did help, but it didn't help everything. It didn't help all of his symptoms. So, he still was smoking, and, he was fine. He's extremely talented, extremely, he's a wonderful man. It does not cloud his judgment. He can smoke, if he's anxious, something happens at work or whatever, he can smoke and still, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but still go back to work and work better because he's relaxed. It totally relaxes him like nothing else. There's no pill that he's tried antidepressants, multiple antidepressants that cause severe side effects, diarrhea, vomiting, hives, all of those things. Could not take those. The Ativan, helps somewhat, but we have found that over the long term that really it is marijuana that actually keeps him on an even keel and able to function in society. And he's been doing it for a long time. And I don't,
Side effects from the cannabis?
None.
None.
Absolutely none. He was sleepy, but, he also has worked a 10 or 12-hour day. So, but other than that, no. No medical side effects at all. He gets annual physicals, and the only thing that shows up in those is that he has high triglycerides, which really is hereditary because so do his mom and his dad. I contribute that to genetics, truly. But we've monitored our diet for that, and it's come down. And his doctor did for a while put him on a medication for that. But once it started coming down, we decided we're just going to monitor it with diet. And we've done that. And he does well.